Okay, good evening, everybody. Gonna wait and see how many more people we get come over, and I'm just gonna answer some questions today that I received about the cornflower. Hey, Chow Cat. Good evening, everybody. Oops, look at me being novice. See how many more people we get. Didn't mute the watch page. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. I'm a noob. Okay, and let me see if I can get the screen share going to show you what the cornflowers look like. Okay. And screen share application. There we go. Start sharing. Okay. Oops. Looks like I'm going to have to stay over there. Okay. Oh, I'm still not used to this screen sharing. Kat, is it going on and off with the screen share? Is it staying on the flowers, or let's see if I can. Let's see. No. Screen share. Application window. Share. Okay. So these are the cornflowers, and the question I received was, what exactly are the properties of them? And here I'm going to go straight over to WebMD and let you know what it says about the cornflower as far as its medicinals are concerned. And no. Okay. Bear with me. It looks like it's just me and Kat out here, but that's okay. I know some people will probably show up after a while or watch it after it broadcasts. So let me read to you about the cornflower. Cornflower is an herb. The dried flowers are used to make medicine. People take cornflower tea to treat fever, constipation, water retention, and chest congestion. They also take it as a tonic, bitter, and liver and gallbladder stimulant. Women will take it for menstrual disorders as well as for yeast infections. Some people apply cornflower directly to the eye for irritation or discomfort. In foods, cornflower is used in herbal teas to provide its color. Okay. So the main thing, the question I got about was with yeast and the pH in our bodies. So that's primarily, it's great for that. And I would encourage everybody to, check in, if you have some things growing in your yard, to check out, get a guide, get a field guide, or if you're in North America, a North American wildlife guide, a medicinal plants for your area. You can get them, from your local library, a secondhand shop. Even Boy Scouts will even have book sales, and that's a wealth of information that you can find that in. I wanted to show you a picture of an actual cornflower, but mine are not in bloom. However, my Augusta Bachelor Button is in bloom, so I will show you what that looks like as compared to the Bachelor Button that is more commonly called the cornflower. Okay, and get back over here. All right. Okay, so what we have here, this is an oxeye daisy. These are columbines. And this right here is this is also called a bachelor button, but it's not the bachelor button that is the cornflower. This is the centaurea, and it's beautiful. As you can see, it's got the array, but there's much more separated. Cynthia, my love, hello, darling. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, mwah. Let's go ahead and get you a spanner, girlfriend. Okay, there we go. Yay! And if anybody wants to join in, please just let me know. I believe I figured out how to put the link into the chat. Let me double check. Okay. Oh, copy. There you go. If anybody wants to come in and oh, okay. Let me go back and do the screen share. Yes, I'm blind. Okay. And, oops. Bear with me another moment. I need to get to the page. There we go. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So you can see here, this is the cornflower. You can see the difference with what I showed you. This is the cornflower, and it also is called a bachelor button. And as you could see, there was a difference. Mine here, the centaurea bachelor button is more like this one here. And okay, let's go back to here and camera. Whoops. Okay, here we go. You can see the difference? Okay. So we have that. So now that we cleared up what's the difference between the ornamental and the cornflower that also goes by the same name of the bachelor button, we will move on to, and go back over here, go back here, see what's going on over here. Bear with me. I'm still learning. Okay. Alrighty, and let's get a little bit more information here for you. Oh, yeah, this is something that I should definitely, because what I have, it actually is very similar to, okay, the ornamental bachelor button. And if we look here, it's very similar in appearance to bee balm. So it's very important that when you are out foraging and looking for your wild plants, that you confirm, because things do look similar and you don't want to catch anything that is going to be harmful for you. So while we're on the bee balm, let's talk about the bee balm for a moment. You go ahead and close this off. And bee balm, wild bergamot, or horse mint. Bee balm is a perennial of the mint family. It can grow to 3 feet in height, has a straight stem, grooved, and it's hard, oval to lance-shaped leaves in pairs. They're rough on both sides. Both species have flowers in 1 to 3 false whorls. Flowers are horn-shaped. Pluck one and notice the resemblance to a stork's head and neck. The M. diadema has red flowers. M. fistulosa has blue flowers. Red M. diadema florets tastes pineapple-like, weakly oregano flavored, whereas the M. fistulosa has a strong oregano flavor. Bee balm is readily found in wet areas from Georgia through Michigan and into Canada. M. fistulosa is found across the nation, and this is for North America, by the way, often along trails in the Rockies and Cascades and along roadsides in Michigan, Indiana, and throughout the East, usually in well-drained areas, but it will tolerate wet and dryness. As far as the aspect of the bee balm, wild bergamot, or horseman is concerned, for food, you can eat the young leaves raw, cook the leaves with other dishes for flavoring, add flowers to salad or in a tea. Either species is an excellent garnish over sauces, especially Italian, because the fistulosa is oregano flavored and is very strong, whereas the diadema is milder and pineapple flavored. You can use both species of the bee balm to season meats for drying and or smoking. You can add the M. fistulosa flowers to black tea to get an Earl Grey-like flavor. Okay. The modern uses of the M. diadema, is mostly widely used. Its chemical constituents may provide protection from diseases of aging. Aerial parts in infusion have chemicals that may prevent, oh my goodness, acetylcholine, it's a neurotransmitter breakdown. Modern holistic practitioners use the plant to treat menstrual cramps and other symptoms of premenstrual syndrome and as a digestive and anti-flatulent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. So that's something to look into as well. It's interesting how the flower are so similar. And actually, let's look at this again. And I'm actually kind of wondering if I've misidentified this and wondering if it could be considered a blue bee balm. I don't think so, but I'm going to have to double check myself. But here for this one, no, I didn't. It's the same. Interesting how that does actually kind of look like a pineapple there, although this is the Centaur Bachelor Button. However, I am going to have to see if they are related. The leaves aren't the same. And here you can see can you see the fuzzies on the leaves? Yeah, so I really like that. And Okay. There we go. And this is the oxeye daisy. And you can distinguish the oxeye from the Shasta daisy with the leaves. These leaves are, oh, let's take this one out. The leaves are pretty. They have little bumps on them, whereas the Shasta daisy, the leaves are intact and may have just a little bit of ridging. These ones are, there you go. And you can see the flatness. There's the petals, and then what the pollen head is flat. Whereas the Shasta daisy is going to be a little bit wider, and then the English chamomile, which looks very similar to this, but the leaves are a little bit more frilly, and the pollen head will be about up to here. It comes up like this. So I think daisies are beautiful. I just absolutely love looking around for them, and they're all edible for salads. Now as they age, they get a little bit more bitter. You don't want to, the roots are kind of yucky, but the petals are good, the leaves are good to put up into a salad, and you'll find them growing like all along roadsides, on hillsides, in between cracks on a sidewalk. So they'll also be good for, you know, like an urban foraging situation as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And let's see. Okay. One other question I wrote it down. One moment. I'm double checking my notes. Okay. The chicory, which looks almost like, which is a purple flower. Chicory, a biennial or perennial to 2 feet in height. The stem is erect with few branches, lance-shaped leaves in a basal whorl, as well as additional smaller upper leaves. Blue flowers, rarely pink or white, with square-tipped rays, dandelion-like root. They're grown nationwide, roadsides, fields, meadows, and waste grounds. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the chicory looks like. It's quite a pretty flower. And let's see if we can go ahead and grab one from the internet. We can get a larger image for you. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and display the image of the chicory. Screen share. Application. Oh. Share. Oops. There we go. Okay, so this is what the chicory flower looks like. We'll leave that up so you all can see the different shades. And okay, and as far as a food source, chicory root is dried, roasted, mixed with coffee beans, and then ground to yield what's called Cajun coffee. The flower petals are slightly bitter and add a nice flavor contrast when stirred into cottage cheese. Let the blossoms infuse into the cheese overnight in the refrigerator. The slightly bitter flowers are healthful additions to salads, jump-starting the digestive process. Traditional uses: the root, dried or fresh, is deconcocted in water as a diuretic, a dietetic, and a laxative. Root tea stimulates digestion, improving both peristalsis and absorption. Root decoction was used externally to treat fever blisters. The Cherokees used root infusion as a tonic for the nerves. Modern uses, it is Commission E approved for stimulating appetite and treating or alleviating dyspepsia. Homeopathic practitioners use it for gallbladder and liver complaints. Root decoctions may reduce blood sugar. Root constituents are antibacterial in vitro. Chicory's anti-inflammatory activity is being studied. It is currently still being studied. Root extracts may slow heart rate and reduce heart contractility. Animal studies showed a cholesterol-lowering effect. In India, the root decoction is used to treat headaches, vomiting, and diarrhea. On a side note, this is a must-have, attractive garden flower with edible leaves, edible flowers, and a stimulating root. So we had, I think it's beautiful myself. And again, it's another flowering plant that's grown in the wild that you can pick up along a roadside and bring into your own apothecary garden to have in times of an emergency. I mean, we really should, I do believe, get more back into using what we have in our backyards to help us whenever we're sick or having problems, with our body. So there we go. Okay, I'm going to take a brief intermission. Let me see if I can find something here to listen to that won't get anybody shut down or get me in trouble with the old YouTubes. Okay, one moment, please. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I have a guest. Hello, Cynthia.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my.
Oh my goodness. Am I loud?
Oh no, I had moved the speaker closer to the microphone on my camera, so when it came on, it like I was leaning over to click the other thing,
Blared you out.
and it was like whoosh.
That was the I'm trying to move the mic.
Hopefully, Chow Yun Cat gets his computer situation finally squared away, and he'll be able to join us eventually as well. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah, yeah. So
just get up and do it, right?
That's exactly right. Be the change you want to see. So
shout out to Chow.
So wow, I'm so excited for you to be here. For future viewers of this this video, when it's on replay, I've been joined by Cynthia OC, a dear friend of mine that I met through the internet, and she is just an absolute wealth of information when it comes to ferments. So with that, Cynthia, would you like to give us a brief introduction as to what ferments are? Cut you on the spot a little bit. I'm sorry. I figured take advantage
ferments.
Of picking your brain while you're here.
Way to bacteria in your gut, and probably the best way to recolonize your gut with good bacteria is ferments, because they have different kinds of bacteria. Like I use the trilogy, which is kefir, kombucha, and wild ferments. And wild ferments is when you take vegetables and you chop them up real small, and then you add salt and you put them in a jar and you let it ferment on the counter for a while, like 7 days maybe, depends on what your taste is, you know. You start developing different tastes with the ferments is what I've noticed, and I've been doing it over a year now, just a little over a year, is you don't crave as much sugar. So it kind of knocks that out, and I think it helps balance, brings the whole system back into balance, eating these ferments. At least for me, this is what it's done.
So that's
I just had some beet, and I even fermented it with kale. I had beet, kale, red cabbage, red beets, carrots, maybe some peppers. I don't know, whatever vegetables are going bad in your refrigerator is what I put in a ferment. You know, I mean, not going bad, but are limpy and like, you know.
right.
Or I buy them just for ferments because I've been having people. I've actually made $10 on my ferments without even trying. I just was like, you know, the people I hear,
Right.
my
People
neighbor.
you speak with, you know, they come into your digital world.
Well, no, just here in my world, and just
In your local area.
in my local area, because see having a dog, then the dog gets dog friends, and then I get to talking to somebody about ferment, or about kombucha, or not kombucha, the kefir. And I find out she knows of a place I can get raw milk. So then that spikes a different relationship. So I'm getting raw milk from them because they had to buy a share of the cow to get the raw milk.
Right.
So I would buy I would buy a half a gallon from them. Well, we just decided that it would be easier if I bought a half a share of the cow, and they did that for me, the cow people. So now I get my own milk, and they were getting ferments. Sometimes I'd trade them ferments for the milk. You know, like the wild ferment vegetables, because they know about this stuff.
And so I was just going to ask you about the wild
most
ferment.
people don't know, that do know. A lot of them don't take the time to make it, and making it is a part of the whole experience. Is making the ferments when you slice up the vegetables. And I've tried like food processors where you just, you know, it's noisy, it's loud. So I've gone back to the hand shredder, and I will shred my cabbage with a knife, because that's something Mom taught me early age, how to do the cabbage, because we used to make cabbage burgers, you know, the meat filled cabbage pies. Yeah. Well, anyways, so I know how to make those. I just don't make them anymore because I don't eat the bread. But yeah, anyway. So cabbage. Yeah. So I slice up the cabbage real fine, and then you grate up the carrot. You grate up whatever you want in there. You can mix, but you know, I've tried garlic. I did a garlic, kale, carrot, cabbage, beet, and it's yummy. And the salt helps keep the crispness of the vegetables. So that's what's called a wild ferment, is when you just use salt with the vegetables. There's other ways of doing it, and it's with the culture, and that's with, like, when you do the kefir, when you make the kefir, you can get it the way.
Okay, let me interrupt just for 1 minute. Some people, when they come across this, they may not yet know what kefir is. They might be thinking.
Kefir is kefir is, yeah, right. Kefir is a milk ferment, and you can kefir water. You could kefir coconut milk. You can kefir almond milk. I wouldn't necessarily. I do the raw milk. That's why I got a raw milk person, is because I cannot drink milk, regular milk. It causes me total upheaval in my system.
Okay.
Instantly, and I will have headache if I eat cheese. Yeah, and it's been getting. I mean, I know this, but then there are times where my gut is fully bacterialized and I can eat cheese, or, you know, the way the food combining also. There's a way to combine food that also helps with digestive
So
issues because
everything will work together if
Hmm?
you put in your different combinations. This plant with this vegetable.
Well, that and
this
protein,
right,
protein and carbohydrates, or protein and starches shouldn't be eaten together at all. We have totally potatoes, meat and potatoes is not a should not be eaten together. Protein should be eaten by itself mostly, unless it's with leafy greens,
right.
some vegetables that, or even a ferment, a wild ferment. If you're going to eat the protein, if you're going to eat the animal meat, you're going to need some good bacteria and enzymes to break it down, because we're starch eaters. We're designed to look for starch, for tubers in our backyard, for tuber plants, and eat those. But we have gone so far in our tastes. We crave this other stuff because our bodies crave it. We have overgrowths of certain kind of bacteria that don't need to be there, and they crave this sugar and they crave the meat and stuff
Because of
and
all the processed foods we started getting.
and
Adapt to that.
and we have no good bacteria in our system because of the vaccinations and the antibiotics. Antibiotics is the killers. I'm not quite sure the vaccinations, that is just this is what I feel about that vaccines, because kids get them early age, and I've been duped into it when I was having babies because I was a child having child,
Yeah.
So you're duped into these things thinking it's a good thing for them, and it's not. And then it takes you 40 years to figure out what is good for you. And what is good for you is to take your food as close to possible to the sun as possible, as raw as possible. And the way I do it is through ferments, because you got to build up the bacteria that has been killed by the white coats.
Yep.
And not all white coats are bad. I'm just saying, they don't know what they're doing. They're just pushing dope. They're drug pushers.
Yep.
And you get an infection instead of going in and getting good bacteria in your system, or maybe having a fire tonic that you make from your backyard vegetables, or or taking some dandelion or some bergamot or some different ways. They're going to treat you with chemical.
That's it.
That is a plant that came from a plant anyway, Wendy. It did.
Exactly. And then they want to synthesize it. So what we can do is we have these, for example, something everybody has, which is the dandelion. Okay, we've got dandelions everywhere. We know dandelions has some, medicinal property in it. Let's suck it for all it's worth. Okay, now we know what the chemical compound is. Let's recreate it from fake stuff, from chemicals that they make in a lab somewhere, patent it. Well, don't eat your dandelions because we've been spraying them with Roundup for 50 freaking years. Mm-hmm. So now you got to go out and pay $25.50 to get those 12 pills to take care of your gut when you could have just bought your backyard. Yeah. I mean, it's a process. I mean,
and that's something else. The dandelions are so important for the bees. And people, if they would look at things differently, if they would change the way they look at everything, and this is what Flat Earth has been for me, but anyways, that's another subject. It's changing the way you view things. And it's like the bees need the dandelions. The dandelions do not need to be killed. So if you look at the dandelion through different eyes, you would see the beauty in the dandelion. You wouldn't see it as a weed encroaching on your lawn. And if you did, you just go out there and you take that dandelion by the root and you make some kind of tea out of it a bit after the bees got done with it.
Right.
I mean, the bees, we need our bees. And we're killing our bees because of the neurotoxins that nice Monsanto and Bayer have made for us. And it's called Roundup. And it's a neurotoxin, and it's killing our bees. Well, and there is a great debate even in the bee community about that. But
Well, I mean, it's reaching the point now where, you know, I can't verify, confirm this to be factual with scientific studies. However, speculation right now, at least locally here in my community, is that, you know, the kids have, I mean, the last couple of years, the kids have just, between the asthma, the ADD, the headaches, the sick, the eczema, the dermatitis, I mean, everything, the little ones around here, I mean, pediatricians' businesses just skyrocketed. Why? Well, a couple of us got to talking, and this would have been today's Thursday. I went to my niece's soccer game. We got to talking and everything. All the little ones running around in their bare feet after the field had been sprayed with pesticide. You know as well as I do, the bare feet walking on top of pesticide that is going right through the largest organ of our body, our skin.
Yep.
We have to wonder if the kids aren't getting sick because they're running barefoot after fields have been sprayed. Even in your own yard, you don't think about the fact that, you know, you just sprayed that dandelion or whatever, and everybody's using they're using some kind of glyphosate, or glyphosate, you know, pesticide, herbicide.
Neurocannabinoids or something like that. Neurocannabinoids. I make sure my gardeners don't use any of that, even when growing a plant. No seed made from it.
Yeah, it's you know,
but the kids running through barefooted, yeah.
And so, you know, so we're kind of wondering what, you know, there should be signs put up that this, I mean, I know the state, when they're going through and doing a spray along highways, they'll have a sign that says, you know, or put something in the newspaper that this section of Interstate 76 or Route 308 or, you know, State Road 12 is going to be sprayed from this hour to this hour. Keep your pets inside. Doesn't say anything about keeping your kids inside. You know, so, and again,
exactly. And it does here. They put little yellow flags out here, but see, we have got such a bee conscious community right now that everybody has their dandelions growing. I mean, the schoolyard is filled with dandelions.
And that's great.
That is great. And, you know, the mower goes through and just mows them down, and it looks fine. You know, after they start, and then they pop up again, and the mower comes down, and it's like, fine, whatever. I don't care. Mow it down.
Yeah.
But don't spray it.
Well, exactly. And, yeah.
And that big hubbub about the tires, the old recycled torn up tires being used for kids on their soccer fields and their playing sports fields and shit. Well, where did that go? That shit that gets hidden because these people get paid off because they put out lawsuits because their child developed this kind of lymphoma because they were, and it happened to not just one kid but multiple kids. And the woman that was doing the research, where is she? You know?
Yeah.
What happened to her? I don't know where she is, but anyway, she was doing research on these goalies who were getting this lymphoma from these playing fields being made out of that recycled tires. And it gets into your skin, and then your body can't, you know, your skin is the biggest organ, and then your body can't, it doesn't know what to do with it, so it attacks it. So it's going to start attacking you because it can't push that shit out. And you don't know it's in there. It's microscopic until you go in and you're like, oh, well, you got lymphoma because you got lumps, instead of thinking maybe it could be something else, and maybe go in for a second opinion, third opinion, maybe look at what they're eating, maybe look at where they're playing. This information needs to be out. I see it here. The information's out here, and there's steps been taken, but the field across from me, their kids are playing on that rubber stuff. It's just bizarre to me how people don't look at that.
Well, and two, when you have stuff like that, when it starts to break down, because I mean, think about a day that's a high heat, and
Yeah,
you know that just starts
and get right into your pores.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called educating the masses, but it's hard to educate a mass of people who are totally shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just zombified.
Oh, exactly. And you know,
And we don't have white coats. Maybe we need to get white coats and come on camera.
Yeah, we're called alarmists when we start trying to, you know, educate or bring awareness. You know, oh, you know, you're just a tree hugger. You're paranoid. You think the government's out to get, dude. Seriously,
Dude,
if it walks like
I hugged a tree
quacks
this
like
morning.
that, it's probably a duck. And if everybody was fine, and then after within 5 years of something being put out into your immediate environment, people start getting sick, you know, it doesn't take that much brain power to connect the dots. It's not
exactly. That's how much, but that's how much we're, I mean, people are not using their brain power. They're letting their TV program them.
Well, I said today, earlier, to a fellow YouTuber that what I see happening, and I think you and I have discussed this as well, Cynthia, is that the TV and the newspaper and the mainstream media has been replaced with YouTube and a digital device. People are now just choosing what they want to be brainwashed with versus what the government forced upon you. So, I mean, you're given the illusion of having freedom to be informed, but you're still being steered and herded, you know, through social media and recommendations.
Oh yeah, well, you know that we've talked about this social engineering that's happening. It's a social engineering. It is. It has to be. They don't give anything for free.
That's exactly right.
There are no free lunches.
Yep. You know, I mean, and the sad thing is that we pay our cable bills, we pay our phone bill, you know, we pay our internet bill. You know, we're paying you know, we're paying to be led down a path.
I know.
I mean, okay, you know, I mean, look at it this way. You know, Charmin is paying an ABC to run their toilet paper commercial during a television program. We're paying the cable company to watch the TV. So we're paying somebody to be sold a product that we're going to go out and buy. So, you know, they're double dipping into our pockets. People don't go on and the same thing has now happened with the internet. You know, the internet used to be see an ad every few and far between, and then in the mid 90s
it was common though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, your platform is free, but we're still going to advertise to you. We're still going to put ads in your face. So we're back again to square one. We're paying the cable company for our internet just so we can be fed more propaganda and more.
Yeah, and if you don't want the ads, just subscribe and pay this much and we'll take the ads off.
Exactly.
And you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's, you know, and again, I don't care what genre it is or what type of community it is, as far as topic is concerned. But when you see one person pop up and next thing you know, bam, it's on everybody's recommend list, and it's that, yeah, kind of ask yourself, okay, why all of a sudden am I being steered in this direction?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been in this crafting community now for 4 years on YouTube. Never heard of this person. you know, and all of a sudden, here, come make this doll. And I'm using the crafting community simply as a hypothetical. There are plenty of communities within YouTube that this could apply to. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right, right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's an agenda. And
There is an agenda.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, I decided, you know, I've discussed it a couple of times. I've talked about, you know, I kind of, you know, want to do this thing and get away from all the material aspects of what's going on out there and bring it back to what I'm comfortable with, which is nature, and how we can use nature and all its beauty and in all its ugliness, that to find ways to get back to being grounded, that we're not out buying processed foods. We're not going out and spending $125 a week to feed our families when we can grow food in our own yards, as well as what the birds, when they do their business as they're flying, are planting seeds everywhere. And if the birds are eating it, it's probably pretty good for us as well.
Yeah, there again, it takes a huge change in a shift in perspective to even go down that way. You know, but it makes you feel better energetically when you stop putting the crap in your body.
It does, guys. You know.
And you just, it's a discipline like anything else.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And being barefoot too. When you have
even if you step on a bee, you just become more aware of where you're stepping. That's all.
Yep. You know, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid to let your kids go out and play in the mud, dig up worms, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember doing that as a kid, going to the golf courses with Dad and taking the flashlight at night and digging up the night crawlers for the fishing trip, you know? Yeah. I appreciate my dad and being part of nature like that. That is where I got my eye for the birds too. Always looking up, always seeing things. Because you see things when you look up and out. And people are so engrossed into their phones that they're not even, and now they're videotaping themselves doing stuff. So it's like, it's just a matter of time when they're videotaping themselves walk out in front of a bus or something.
Exactly. I know that sounds extreme, guys, but you know, it's look at all the automobile accidents that have happened because of texting.
Yep. I was in one of them. I was T-boned, smashed into a truck. And this cop watched it, she was turning left and saw this kid just run the red light, smashed right into me and smashed me into this other guy. I wanted to get out and slap that kid's face, but I couldn't get out because I was pinned in. But anyway. Yeah. Too much going on. And you can always tell a texter too, because I'm always aware of everybody. I'm looking at everybody in the face when I'm driving because I got so much going on here. This is a college town. So you got the college students and they're everywhere and they'll walk right out in front of you. They don't care. And then you got the bike riders, the joggers, the deer, the coyotes. So you got a lot going on. You got to be aware. When you're behind a vehicle, you got to be aware. It's a privilege to drive. To have the right to drive, it's a privilege. Use it like one. It is a weapon. You are behind a weapon that can kill anything if you run it over. So, you know, you got to watch what you're doing.
Yeah, Cynthia, we got a question.
Your surroundings.
Yeah, we got a question. And Chow Yun Cat would like to know if we have any information on the stinging nettle.
Well, Wendy, I would like to know information on the stinging nettle. I know that helps with I've heard it helps with arthritis.
Yeah. I'm going through my information packets here because I do not want to give erroneous information. I don't want to misspeak.
So when she goes through that, I'll just tell Chow, I've got a beehive. So I'm a beekeeper now. And yesterday I went to my, I think it's my 4th class, and a lady joined us, and she's getting therapy from the bees. She's got Lyme disease, and she's been getting sting therapy 3 times a week. She's up to six stings on her spine. So 6 bees give up their life for her to help her with her Lyme disease. She says it's helping her. She's just started this in January, and it's 3 times every week she does that. And I'm just like, holy cow. I had stepped on a bee last Saturday and it hurt, but there's a way to take the stinger out. You just scrape it out instead of pull it out, because when you pull it out, it pumps the poison in. If you scrape it out, you don't pump the poison in, you just scrape it off. And I pulled it out, and that's the first thing I learned in class. So no matter what class I take, I still got to learn my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bees are so awesome. Anyways, I thought that's a pretty cool thing to be doing, that sting therapy, that venom therapy.
Yeah. Oh gosh, probably I think it was about 2000. I want to say it was while I was in this house that I watched the little mini documentary. So would have been in 2008 or 2009. I had just moved in. So a woman that was doing the stinging therapy for her arthritis. And it was just absolutely terrifying to me because I'm allergic, but the benefits that she received. But apparently too, you can become addicted to the high, because there's so much dopamine will go, and adrenaline when you're stung like that. So they were talking about pros and cons. I want to say it was either on like Animal Planet or PBS, and I gave up cable television antenna. I gave up television in 2012. So it was within that time period. But that's something, since you brought that up, we might want to look into a little bit further, and maybe do a little presentation, put a little presentation together, and out there for the peoples on alternative therapy. But I did find the stinging nettle information.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera on so we can show a picture of what it looks like. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay. That is a stinging nettle. And most people have them in their yard. Okay, the stinging nettle. Okay, what to look for? Leaves paired, toothed, covered with stinging hairs, flowers green in long clusters. The habitat is wetlands, meadows, edges of woods. Excuse me. I can say that in my area, they just grow in the yard. Underneath the shrubs, underneath the pine trees, along the driveway. They've grown along sidewalks. So yeah, you can pretty much find them. I'm going to say anywhere.
Anywhere. Itmar would go out and he'd come back and he'd be like his hands were in the stinging nettle, so it helped him somehow.
Yeah. The scientific name of the group comes from the Latin uro, U-R-O, which means I burn, an apt description of the result of the handling the leaves and the stems. The downy hairs that covers these parts are actually hollow tubes through which a severe irritant is injected. The young shoots
camera is on too. by the way. Still.
Okay. Okay. The young shoots and tender top leaves, however, make a good soup or cooked green. Boiling takes out the sting. Okay. Now on to the medicinal handbook. And the medicinal handbook also says for the food aspects of the stinging nettle, young shoots in fall, new growth, and shoots in spring are picked and steamed, sauteed, or stir-fried. A favorite recipe is a cream of nettle soup. Older summer hardened nettles may be simmered with other herbs, rosemary, celery, thyme, onions, leeks, and lavage, or lovage, L-O-V-A-G-E, lavage, 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 lavage. Okay.
I would say one of those words.
I'm going to look up proper pronunciation later. I've never heard of that before.
Is that a salad? Say that salad again. Is that a, sounded pretty yummy.
Actually, it's a cream of nettle soup.
Oh.
And it's maybe simmered with rosemary, celery, thyme, onions, leeks, and L-O-V-A-G-E.
Lovage, 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 lovage.
To make a vegetable bouillon or soup base. Discard the plant matter after simmering for 25 minutes, then use the broth in cooking. Traditional uses for the stinging nettle. A mineral-rich plant food has been used for generations to treat allergies. The infusion of aerial parts has expectorant qualities and was used for asthma and cough.
Wow.
Nettle tincture is used for flu, colds, pneumonia, and bronchitis. The dried plant is styptic, S-T-Y-P-T-I-C, styptic, when applied to wounds, and naturopaths use the drug to treat internal bleeding. According to Steve Brill and Evelyn Dean in their book, Identifying and Harvesting Edible and Medicinal Plants in the Wild Places, drinking nettle tea and eating nettles may make your skin clearer and healthier, and it may be therapeutic for eczema. Eating nettles may improve color, texture, gloss, and health of hair. Aerial parts were infused as a tea and used to treat urinary tract infections, kidney and bladder stones, and rheumatism. Root tincture was used for irritable bladder and prostate complaints. In traditional Russian medicine, nettle was used to treat hepatitis. In Spanish traditional medicine, nettle leaves are prepared in an infusion as a diuretic to replenish minerals, as a hemostat, and as a purgative to remove toxins from the body. The root is believed to reduce the size of kidney stones. A decoction of the seeds is believed to prevent involuntary urination in children. Stinging nettle is said to be helpful on arthritic joints as a counter-irritant. Using nettles to thrash arthritic joints causes pain and inflammation and temporary relief of the arthritic area. This approach is not recommended, however. Mexican truck drivers use the plant to relieve sciatica. They also drink copious amounts of tequila. Okay, I believe that was just a little caveat for a joke.
That's funny.
Yeah, let's see. All right, modern uses. Stinging nettle was Commission E approved for treating benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. Nettle root and saw palmetto have been combined successfully to treat prostate enlargement symptoms. Nettle roots in Russia are tinctured for hepatitis and gallbladder inflammation. In Germany, as in the United States, nettle root extract is being researched for the treatment of prostate problems. And the citation for this is ARZNEIM hyphen FORSCHUNG / Drug Research 56, number 3, the year 2006, numbered 2222-29. So I believe that would be the medical research catalog number. Okay. Let's see what else. It's good for psoriasis, and nettle is a vital ingredient in a cleansing tea to make for racing pigeons. Short-haired hunting dogs may have bad encounters with stinging nettle in the woods and while hunting. Grazing animals will not eat live nettle, but will eat it dried. Nettle juice mixed with nettle seeds is a good hair tonic for your domestic animals as well. And citation for that is check out ruralvermont.com. So I hope, Chow Cat, that answered your question.
Yeah, that was pretty, wow, that's a superpower plant. And I'm sure it's looked at as a weed, huh?
Yeah, and the fact that there is actual citations in medical research for its properties with the prostate for the men. So that's really good. I wasn't aware of that until reading that in there. I knew it was good for a tea and it was good for inflammation. I wasn't aware of all the other really good things. So again, people, you know, this is what I'm saying. This is what Cynthia's saying. Go in your backyard, see what you have. I mean, there's just a wealth of healthy and medicinal plants that are just commonly called weeds that get sprayed and killed. Sometimes it makes you wonder, why are they killing all these weeds?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we can't go out there and fend for ourselves.
And it's good to do the field work. It's good to get a good book to like you have, or a couple of them, to identify the plants, because they are so similar. One plant can look, I mean, just like
poison hemlock and Queen Anne's lace is a prime example.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure if you were here earlier.
There was one that Itmar, we were picking for and drying, and it was good for all kinds of stuff too. But man, it had so many other plants look exactly like it. It took forever to figure it out. So it is good to do the research. I've got a book called Eat Your Weeds. I've got a few herb books, but
and that's it, the field research, because you can look at all kinds of pictures and pretty pictures, and okay, I have the book, I have the pictures, I'm good to go. Until you get out there and touch it, look it, you know, smell it, you know, and you
pull it up, dry it, talk to it, communicate with it, figure out if the animals are eating it, watch it.
Yeah, I mean, don't wait until everything goes to heck in a handbasket. You know, get out there and do this now while you still have access to the internet.
While you're hiking with your dog, take that little field guide out there with you. Or just pick plants and then bring them home to your field guide, you know?
Yep. Yep. And you know, and that goes with mycology as well. If you're out there hunting mushrooms, there are so many mushrooms that look so similar to others that are poisonous, like the like the morel, and then, you know, then the dead brain. I mean,
yeah,
and the wing versus the oyster.
Yeah.
I mean, and some things you just can't go out there and start messing with, because, well, I saw on a forum, on a thread, on an internet, that Bobby Joe told Susie about that Johnny went and double checked and then talked to Brian. Yeah, we can have these seeds. It's going to be good for us, or it's going to give us a good time. And next thing you know, you're laying in the emergency room with, you know, shot kidneys and your brain fried. I mean, come on, people. Mushrooms are for another day, because I'm not confident enough yet
Oh
to
gosh, yeah, man. There are
discuss
people
it.
out there get their doctorates on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Become mushroom doctors. Yeah. They're a whole different other creature. It's like the bees with me. Once you get the bee venom, not in you, but just once you get that urge to care for them, it's a whole different world. And then you start learning about their world and their parasites, what they get, and all their fungi and molds and what they live with.
Yeah.
And most of it, if it's a strong hive, they can, and if the hive is looked at like a human body, if the hive is strong enough, it can pretty much regulate itself. It can overcome all kinds of diseases, and you just gotta make sure it doesn't get overcome by them. But if it's strong hive, they don't. It's just building a strong hive is key, and that is a genetic thing. I'm finding out with the bee. It's a genetic thing. And genetics can easily be wiped out in one hive. It's weird, this whole bee thing. Whole nother world. As I'm saying, with the ferments too, because the ferment is a whole nother world. It's a bacterial world. It's where, and if you look at your body, it's made up of all kinds of living things.
Well, exactly. But over time, we've been trained to think that bacteria is a bad thing.
Exactly. Antibacterial soaps, no germs, nothing, but it's the germs. And more that we touch stuff and put it in our mouths when we're a kid, the more we're beginning to become immune to it. And when your child is eating dirt pies, it's because they're getting that good bacteria in their gut. They need it. Don't freak out. It's okay. They can eat the dirt.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna to add on to what you were saying about with the bees and everything, and their genetics, and how we have a symbiotic relationship with nature. And somewhere along the line, industrialization of society has taken that away from us. And and that led into everything being so sterile and sterile to the point that, excuse me, that let's not allow our bodies to grow with nature, being outside, getting dirty, and everything. And I'm not and don't get me wrong, for future people that watch this video, I am not saying that we need to go back to the times of filth and cholera and
Oh no, it's not about like that stuff. That's a fear thing too there.
I'm talking, get out there and let your body do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Everything was
know thyself.
Yes, and everything was
if you know your body and how it works, then you get to know how to feed it right. And that's important because they've kept they through education. I mean, you can find this stuff out. You just go to the library and pick up a book. And now we got the internet. But back in the day, man, we'd have the library, okay, people, where books were. You'd have even, remember the index cards? You'd have the whole, that whole system.
Well, back when I went to school, it was part of the fact, and I think it was in the 5th grade, we had a whole class on learning how to use a library.
Use the library, yeah.
Understanding the Dewey Decimal System, understanding the index catalogs, how to find a book.
And once I figured out that, it was everything I could possibly want to learn. Is in a book out there somewhere. And if you ask the universe, it'll supply you with what you need.
Yeah, I mean
really.
I've said this before, when I was a little one, running around barefoot, carefree, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, throughout that 5-year period of my life, I didn't understand why I had to leave my parents, you know. It's like, okay, you're going off, you know, with Mrs. LaFawn, and you're going to go spend 2 weeks with her. You're going to go spend 4 weeks with her. You're going to spend the whole summer with her. Now I am so thankful, because from the time I was 5 years old up until we moved from that area when I was 11 or 12, every summer I was sent, and I learned about dirt. I learned about rocks. I learned about plants. I learned about trees. I learned about flowers. I learned about
Yep.
bugs. I mean,
And that's what we need. That's what we need more than anything, is that kind of that learning thing where kids actually go and they learn that stuff.
Yeah,
it's invaluable, right?
It is invaluable, and thankfully the information is all up there, and I loved it. To be, you know, after a while, it's like, you know, why do I have to go home? I mean, I was finding this out in the Arizona deserts. I was finding this in Colorado. I was, you know, and I it was just amazing. And on her ranch, I mean, I don't even, to me, she owned a whole state, because the ranch was just so big. And then she was also
Yeah.
she was also part of a tribe. So I learned about the drying of the herbs and the making of the teas and making
shit,
of the
man.
poultices.
Learn from a shaman.
Yes. And it was absolutely, the experiences that I had for hours just sitting there and listening to the elders. It's nothing that can ever be replaced. And it was invaluable.
That's what's been lost in our elderly are losing their minds because of all this prescription drugs that they've been force fed and TV propaganda.
You know, and I would suggest
around watching TV, they sit around doing the bonfires and working. You don't have time for that shit.
Yeah. I say take 3 days, take 5 days, and if, you know, start out just for 3 days, no electricity, nothing but your hands, what you have on hand, be outside, go in the woods, take a camping trip, you know. So if you can't handle it, okay, you've got some modern amenities, then do it for 5 days. And if you have children, take your children with you. Don't, you know, I just see so many things where kids are afraid to touch a worm and put it on a hook to go fishing. You know, I mean, if it's not a video game or a tablet, and was it one of the rare times that I, you know, once a month I have to go to the city, literally a toddler in a stroller being
with
pushed on the sidewalk with a digital device in their hand, pressing the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't believe it.
I know. What happened? What happened to when you'd go out to dinner? It was a conversation, and now it's everybody has their digital device and are looking at it. Even the kids are giving it to be quiet. The kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like, but everybody's been programmed to do that, and it's just like, I have to find in my heart somewhere tolerance for it, because these people are programmed, and to go up to them and shake them and say, wake up, is probably more, you do more damage than anything. So,
oh yeah, I mean,
you gotta have tolerance and patience and forgiveness, because not everybody's seeing it, and not everybody wants to see it. They like their gadgets. They don't want to be in nature. They don't want to know any of this shit. They don't feel the need to.
Yeah, nature,
and that's okay.
At this point, is a manicured lawn, a professionally installed flower bed, and maybe the 2-week vacation with the kids to the shore, and or maybe camping. And what's sad is it used to be a time of day that at certain times of the year, campgrounds were filled. You had to book months in advance. Now you can anytime during the summer or the fall when the leaves are changing. You know, you don't have to make that reservation because there's just nobody going there anymore. I mean, we had a campground.
Really? That's not here, man. But of course we're a weed-friendly state, so
Yeah.
we have an influx of people.
Of tourism. Yeah, I was
Tourism.
watching something about that the other day too.
But our parks are so overused that they got to shut them down. They got to shut down people from going so the growth can come back. Because it gets overused. Even nature gets overused and it needs to recycle. So you got to shut down that certain area and open up another area, which is good. We have a good park system. Colorado's pretty good, but we still got a lot of fracking happening, and that's not good. And of course, everybody should have water for free. So let me not get started there. But
oh yeah, oh, yeah. That's
we were talking about herbs in our backyard.
Yeah, water's a whole.
Oh, I planted a bee-friendly garden, and I'm gonna start handing out flyers to everybody that is attracted to the bees, because I thought it would be a good idea for everybody to be a beekeeper, but it's not.
No,
what
it's
it is,
not.
it's good for people to plant plants for the bees.
Right.
But the more bees, the more you can spread diseases and stuff. So, having a few hives in one area, not overloading the bee population to spread the germs or to spread the diseases. I don't know how it is with that, but bees will go in and raid another hive and take all the honey. If it's a hive and they know it's weak, they'll go in and they'll take the whole thing. Bees, honeybees.
Oh, that doesn't.
These guys are. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. It always goes back to the bees now. It used to be the ferments when I first got started on Hangouts. Now it's like bees.
I'm going to keep talking about bees. I'm going to go visit Jack's for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
See what Jack's doing.
Right. Yeah, Chow. Insects. The funny thing is I've never been afraid of nature at all until I was pregnant with my first child. A daddy long leg crawled on me and I freaked out. Guess what? It was the child. She is so afraid of all of that. But when she was a little girl, she would play with snakes and be like this little fairy girl. And nature would just come out and she would love it. But now she went through this phase where she didn't like the creepy crawlies crawling on her. And I'm sure she still doesn't, but she's mellowed out a bit with her princesses needs. She's more queen-like than princess. Anyway, but bugs can be creepy and grasshoppers can be very creepy. But with grasshoppers, if you walk through a field of grasshoppers, they will fly away from you. They don't want to be near you. They don't want to be near you. So, we got to start commanding here with our love that we are, because that's how you get things to move out of your way or to come to you. So it's funny. We had this herd of deer because we had 3 feet of snow here just recent after, of course, I planted my tomato plants. And
I'm back. Of course.
Welcome back. So we had the deer, and it was like 5 of them, and they'd come and they'd eat these plants, and they're those big, sticky, stemmy, like dandelion things, but they're really long, and they got the big yellow top on them, and then kind of got, I don't know and then they close up in the cold. Those are weedish, but they are medicinal. The roots are medicinal, and guess what? I saw the deer eating them when the snow came. So I was like, yeah, well, the deer eating them, they're good. Those are good stuff right there. And these deer, I saw them 3 times that day. It was funny because it was weird deer medicine happening, even with the dogs, both dogs, because we have a guest dog staying with us. So the deer were out was interesting. Interesting little snow. It was good. Got everything nice and wet because we're pretty dry state. So, anyway, welcome back.
Okay.
I need to figure out that.
Is it the wild lettuce? It's the tall and is it the common sow thistle?
It's got the yellow on it.
But it grows really tall.
Really tall, and it acts, yeah, and it closes up when it's cold.
Yeah, that is the common SOW, sow thistle. Let's double check.
I know that the professor's I call her his girlfriend, but it's his writing partner that he's known. And actually, she's the one that I met him through because I was cleaning her house, and she is she's written books on this stuff, on
Is
that kind
it?
of thing.
Yeah.
And when I'd clean her house, she'd tell me all this stuff, like this thing here, you can eat that, make a tea out of it. The roots are medicinal. And then she'd show me the stuff in her, because I turned into her gardener also because I was cheap labor because it got me out of the house. But I'd go into her garden and she'd show me these things, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks just like a plant. And it would look the same, the weed and the plant. And it would boggle my mind. And being a stoner, I didn't think helped, but it was just like, man, you know, so I'd be pulling her plants and not the weeds because it didn't look like, she forgave me though. Because we got plants here that take over everything, and people plant them like, you know, like forget-me-nots. They'll take over a whole garden.
Yeah. Well, now then there's the evening primrose. That closes at
Oh, is that it?
That closes at night, but it doesn't look like a dandelion.
That's not it. The leaves are different. They're long. And
Okay, then it might be the evening. The picture I have up is not what you're talking about, right?
right.
Okay, so let me go and let's pull up. Does it look like this?
Not buttercuppery, but we do get those here. Not that though. It's it's like a,
but it looks like
I want to say dandelion, but it's nothing like a dandelion. So
well, milkweed, that's yellow. Partridge peas.
I'm going to bring it up on, let's see if I can find a picture.
There's the tufted loosestrife. No, that's woodsy and marshes. Something that grows out your way.
Yeah.
The velvet leaf. Oh my goodness. I'm on a hunt now, people.
Me too. And I looking up weed in Colorado, and guess what I find? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, because it's just all weed. Mary Jane cannabis. Put some weed in it.
There's something called alpine goldenrod.
Huh.
There's gumweed as well.
Ooh, maybe it's gumweed. There's thistle. Just give me some
golden aster.
pictures.
The golden aster is all through your area. Here, let's do the Google. Anything like this?
No. It'd just help if I went and picked one, but they close up when it's cold. They've got a long stalk on them. They grow long. And then they got that one bloom and their leaves are like feathery. I know, I don't explain it right, whatever.
I don't know. It might be the Alpine goldenrod.
The girl that was getting the bee sting, she's a botanist also. I don't even know what to like ask, search for.
The common gumweed. Flower heads yellow with disc and ray flowers emerging from gummy cup-like base of pointed green bracts. Leaves oblong, toothed, covered with translucent dots.
Yeah, that's not them because they're not long enough. And they're clustery. That's clustery. These aren't clustery. They're long on one stalk, the flower. Like a dandelion would be. And they get the big poof like a dandelion after the...
Wonder if it's a yellow
seeds.
fleabane.
It's like a dandelion, but it's a big poofy ball. It's not... It's like a dandelion, but not... It's in the dandelion family, I bet you.
Well, there's the yellow fleabane. Flower heads yellow, borne simply atop upright, often branching stems, leaves grass-like, clustered at the base of the plant and scattered along the stems. Habitats: dry mountain slopes, scrublands, open woods. So I get the I get the white fleabane here. And they do. I'm trying to think if they get the if they get the wish balls on them. Let's look. Yellow fleabane. Oh, now the yellow fleabane is looking like the yellow aster. Yeah. There we go. Brass buttons. Oh, okay. I wonder if it is. Not. The fireweed gets the little the poofy thing on it, and then there's the yarrow. No, let's pull up. There's the tan. No, this they don't have. It doesn't have flower clusters. It just has one flower on top of the stem.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the tansy has like a bushel of flowers on the stem, but the brass button, let's
Boy, this is entertaining for our listeners. All I'm finding is dandelions, and it's like it's not a dandelion though, but it gets a poofy head, like poof. What are those called? Seed.
Okay, here's a buttonweed.
No, it's not it.
That's not it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay, we're going to take a moment for a musical interlude.
Why we figure this shit out. Sounds good. I
I need to get a cup of tea as well.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that also. We'll
We'll
figure
be
this
right
out.
back, Chow Cat, and the island, if you're still there.
I found a place called Identify That Plant. Be back in 5 or maybe 8.
Let's get the music for you. It's not very loud. I don't want to blast anybody's speakers. Five-minute intermission. Okay, thank you for waiting. I hope the music was pleasant for you. Everybody get a chance to stretch their legs, grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee. Oh my. Okay. Exactly, Chalcat. If maybe Cynthia can at least grab, if she has some growing in her yard, maybe she can grab some, and we can see the leaves, and maybe the leaves might help us to identify it. I came across something the other day that I wanted to share. Oh, okay. While Cynthia is on her break, let me go ahead and read about the red clover. And let's pull up an image of the red clover. So for those that aren't entirely sure what red clover looks like, because it's not necessarily red, it's kind of purplish color. In my area, it's a pinky purple color. Okay, and let's go here. Screen share. Application window. Go. Share. Okay. Okay. This is the red clover. Okay. Red clover, a perennial to 12 to 18 inches in height, 3 leaves with distinct V marking on each leaflet. Leaflets fine-toothed, ovate, Flowers pink to red, dome-shaped or rounded. They grow nationwide, and again, this is for North America, in fields, roadsides, waste grounds, and in full sun. Red clover makes a relaxing floral tea. Florets may be tossed on salads. The tea is made from fresh or dried flowers. Traditional uses for the red clover are the floral tea, which was traditionally used as a cure-all, decoctions or tea used as an external wash on burns, wounds, and insect bites. Pioneers claimed that drinking the tea purified the blood and it was an enervating enervating tonic. Tea is considered an expectorant as therapy for respiratory problems such as asthma, bronchitis, and whooping cough, and as an antispasmodic and mild sedative. Dried flower heads are traditionally considered anti-cancer and are part of the Hoxley and Asiatic anti-cancer formula, which includes red clover, sheep sorrel, burdock root, slippery elm bark, rhubarb root, watercress, blessed thistle, and kelp. Red clover is also used as a wash for psoriasis and eczema. Isoflavone, estrogen-like compounds in clover are used to treat menopausal and postmenopausal problems. Modern usage of a red clover isoflavone concentrate in tablet form reduced bone loss in a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial with 177 women between the ages of 49 and 65. Citation: Atkinson, Compton, Day et al. In Appendix D. A smaller trial showed that red clover derivatives reduced hot flashes. See the Van de Weijer, Weijeer, Berenstain studies. And a third study showed a 23% increase in arterial blood flow to the heart in women. See the Nextel Pomeroy K studies. And that's Nestle, Nestel, Pomeroy, Pomeroy, Kay. Red clover is still used to treat menopausal symptoms and may improve blood flow to the heart. Okay. There is a note of caution with the red clover. Standardized red clover extracts should be used, and even then only under the supervision of a licensed healthcare practitioner. The drug may increase bleeding and has some other side effects. Floral tea should be used sparingly unless supervised by a holistic healthcare professional. There are wildlife and veterinary uses for the red clover as well. It's an important foraging food for game and domestic animals. It is nitrogen fixing. It is a nitrogen fixing soil replenisher. A trial with female sheep grazing in clover showed that viscosity of the cervix is affected and may reduce fertility. That's in sheep, but with anything that I'm discussing here in regards to foraging, weeds, plants, herbs, etc., check with your healthcare professional if you're going to go off medications, or if you'd like to take a more holistic approach to your health. Notify your healthcare provider, be it a nurse or a doctor, and let them know that you're going to be making some lifestyle changes. And let's say you are taking a blood thinner or an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, or a menopausal medication or hormone replacements. Check with your doctor, because the chemical compounds in some of these plants could have absolutely dire adverse reactions, especially if you're taking an MOIA or MOAI medication, which is an ACE inhibitor. And you don't want to be going and taking bark off trees and making a tea or a coffee if you're taking something like that, because you'd end up with heart palpitations. So none of the information I'm providing, it is for informational purposes only. Do your own research, and before you try anything or go off your regular diet or regular routine, check with a professional, check with your healthcare provider, just to make sure that, given your current health, that you're not going to have any adverse reactions or effects, especially if you have topical allergies, hay fevers, anything like that. When you start ingesting something in a tea or using it topically, it could make your allergies worse, which could cause respiratory issues. So again, this is just for informational purposes and to make you aware that there are alternatives to pharmaceuticals. But again, always talk with your healthcare provider before you go on any regimen or want to look into homeopathic remedies. And that, my friends, has been a public service announcement. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yay.
Yeah, you got to throw that disclaimer in there.
Yes, you do. I can't find this. I even went out and picked it and was going to put, it's got this, some kind of scale, and I don't want to bring it in the house.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. You don't want to be, it could be a baby sack for some bug.
Definitely. It's, yeah.
Especially if there's some kind of fungus growing on it because of the recent weather changes or something. But yeah, I agree. We'll put that, as if we're in a corporate boardroom, we'll table that for next time.
Yeah, we'll take notes and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Get back to the YouTube side of things so I can see. Oops. There we go. Okay. All right. The Day of the Triffids. That's right. I actually have that on VHS, as a matter of fact. Day of the Triffids. Oh my. So, okay. Well, I've been on for what, an hour or 2 hours now?
2 hours. Yep.
Okay. I think I'm going to wrap this up and
sounds good.
And take care of a few things, and so
All
okay.
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off live broadcast, and I will. Kat, please come back again next time. It's always a pleasure to have you here. The island, if you're still out there, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cynthia, save my behind for coming online with me so I didn't have to just sit here and talk to myself. I appreciate it very much. And
I'm glad I got home on time.
yeah, it's very much appreciated. Good information all around. And as I said last time, I'm going to try to make this a weekly thing. But, you know, life steps in when there's good weather. I'm going to be outside versus being on the computer. So,
yeah.
and which it should be with everybody. So, okay. Thanks for tuning in, and for all the future viewers of this, I hope it will be beneficial to you. And until next time, y'all have a lovely day. Bye.
Ciao.